Just give me 1 sec. What is going on, YouTube? We are just getting started with a little Amazon FBA Q&A. We got the TikTok live here as always, where we're getting our questions from. Let's go. I can see 2 names. I don't know. Blossom, how do you not know? Did you create a seller account before? Did you create a seller account after? That would be something very, very important. Let's see. Smooth so far. Placed a deposit, waiting for production samples to take pictures. Nervous AF, man. Yeah, bro. It's a beautiful thing. I wouldn't take those nerves and make it excitement. It's normal to be a little bit nervous doing anything that you've never done before, right? I get nervous when I'm going on a plane or flying, or you know what I'm saying? Like just certain little things. We're humans. It's normal to be nervous, but embrace it. And also document your whole journey, bro. You don't have to post it on social media, but I promise you, you'll look back and thank yourself for documenting everything. But yeah, man, you know the fundamentals. You know what it takes to have a successful product on Amazon, reviews, good product listing, all of that stuff. So just stick to the script, and God willing, you'll be good. Luke, what's the return rate of the new product launched? Is it what you expected it to be when launched? We've only gotten 1 return, Juke. I need to make an update on TikTok, but if you guys just saw my last video that I posted, I'm going to be shifting the series a little bit more towards YouTube, like long form content, because I don't know, I just think it's a little bit more fun on YT. I think it'll be a really good YT series. So that's where it's been, but we've gotten 1 review with we're already almost sold out of our test run order. So 150 units, I want to say, off the top of my head. 1 return out of 150 units, literally less than a 1% return rate. So that's pretty great. I created 1 time, but I wanted to change the name. That is it. So when you change the name, I'm a little confused where you're at, Blossom. It's going to be hard to give you advice on how to get the seller account back if I don't know exactly what happened. So when you say you changed the name, did you mean that you started a new account to change the name? What's up? What up, Alex? Thank you for sharing the live. Just me. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. I did my first private label product, and after months of research and lost 2.5K, scared to do it again. Ghost, let's break it down, brother, and don't be ashamed. Don't be like embarrassed. None of those things. Let's break it down analytically so we can actually find the root of the problem to see why you lost that 2.5K. So was it a bad product launch? I mean, how did you did you start with 5K and then you only lost 2.5K, so you recouped 50% of your investment? Give me a little bit more context, and then we can hopefully get to the bottom of it. Yes. Okay, so Blossom says, yes, I created a new account because I wanted to change a name. That is why you got banned, Blossom, because you're not allowed to have 2 seller accounts. That was not the way to do it. Having a second seller account is, if we had like a top 5 biggest no-nos on Amazon, that would definitely be in the top 5. And if they catch you for that, they will take down both of your accounts. There are services that you can contact to try to fix that. If I don't know if you still have access to seller support, but I would try to fix that as well. Your best option, to be honest with you, is it's going to take you a bunch of extra steps to do this, but you're going to have to create a new seller account, but you can't have it you can't have it linked to anything. So not your address, not your name, not the Wi-Fi that you started those other accounts on, not the same computer or device that you started those accounts on. So you're going to have to jump through some hoops, but that's because of the initial mistake that was made. That's crazy. Awesome. Yes, sir. Juke, appreciate you. So Ghost says, plain and simple, couldn't convert PPC to sales. Product was too niche. When you say too niche, what do you mean by that? Because you could still have a successful niche product and but let's break down both scenarios, right? So maybe it was a product issue. You launched a bad product. That's not something to be scared of for your next launch, because now you learn, okay, these are the types of products that don't convert well, that don't perform well. This is why I use the product criteria that I use, y'all. I'm looking for a product that has demand, low average reviews, but still has enough demand for me to actually get sales. Now, in terms of couldn't convert to PPC to sales, PPC's job, right? I know this throws people off when I say it, but PPC's job is not to convert, right? If you were looking at entities on Amazon, Amazon ads, and then your listing, and then reviews, your product images, PPC's job is not to get your product to convert. PPC's job is to drive traffic to your product. So if you were getting clicks, check, PPC ads did its job. What makes your product convert? Reviews and optimizing your listing. Those are the biggest things. This very rarely happens, but I was talking to somebody who they launched a product on Amazon and they lost like 6 G's because of Amazon PPC ads. But it wasn't because of Amazon PPC ads. It's because they literally they throw on some campaigns, they let them run and run and run and run, and they did nothing to optimize their listing. They did nothing to go push for more reviews. And so it's not about, oh, I'm scared to do it again. Just do it again, but do it right. Luke, how much revenue do you do with all your FBA brands combined? If you don't mind sharing, multiple 7 figures across accounts, brother. A+ content helps with conversion. It does. According to Amazon, it can help increase conversion by up to 10%. But if I had to rank every aspect of a product listing and say what, I'll get to that question right now, Ghost. Hold on. If I was going to rank every single thing in a product listing to say, oh, what's the thing that's going to drive sales the most? It would be your main image and reviews. That would be tied for first. Those are going to actually, reviews number 1, main image number 2, infographics number 3, product title number 4, A+ content number 5, number 6 is your bullet points, and number 7 is your brand story. So A+ content's number 5 on the list. Reviews is number 1 on the list. Your main image is number 2 on the list. There's so many people who will throw up a product on Amazon, barely get any reviews, sometimes get like sub 10 reviews, never optimize their main image. And then those people are like, why didn't I do well on Amazon? Well, because you didn't make any optimizations to your product on Amazon. So that's going to be a big driving factor into somebody's success when they're selling a product on Amazon. Make sense? How many reviews were on your listing before it took off? I really struggled with that. I just posted a video on how to get reviews, Ghost, but I don't even run PPC ads until I get 10 to 15 reviews. I won't even turn on a PPC ad, not an auto campaign, not a broad campaign, not a phrase campaign, not an exact campaign, until I have 10 to 15 reviews. And then that's the minimum. That's still not a lot of reviews. That's not enough to get your product to the point in most cases that you want it to get to. You have to always push for more reviews. We have product listings, by the way, that have thousands of reviews, and we still make pushes for reviews. So I don't know. I mean, I'm curious, Ghost, how many reviews did you have on your product listing? And this, none of this is to be like, oh, why didn't you do this? Hold on really quick. None of this is to say, oh, why didn't you do this or anything like that. Like all of my advice, you guys, sometimes it sounds a little harsh, but all of my advice is with the intent of me wanting y'all to be better. I had so there you go, Ghost. So that's exactly why a 3.7 star rating is going to crush conversion. 15 reviews, that's a good point, but obviously you had 15 good reviews from friends and family, and then you probably got 3 1-star reviews, which is not good. That might also have to do with your product quality. So yeah, I mean, it's a learning lesson for the next product if you launch it. Um, I'm also curious, did you get product samples and did you get a product inspection? Right? The things that I talk about, y'all, I promise you, it's not because I just like to hear myself talk. It is certain um, it is certain fundamentals that are actually going to be the driver to get you the sales on Amazon, right? Getting product samples to make sure that the quality of the product is good and make sure that it's something that you would be happy with your customer receiving. A product inspection is to make sure that the bulk order of the inventory is good quality. Pushing for more reviews is because reviews is one of the biggest drivers to conversion and credibility on a product on Amazon. Optimizing your main image, because that's literally the first thing that a customer will see on your product. I just had a call with my mentorship student. He's doing about 6K on one of his products right now. He joined the mentorship after launching that product, right? And I had given him some advice, and it was actually really cool because it was cool to see it click in his head. Like he lit up. I was showing him examples of like, okay, look at what this listing is doing. Look at what this listing is doing. And on their main image, look what they're doing on their infographics. And he's like, oh my gosh, dude, like I totally get it. He was good on reviews. I think he had, I want to say like 50 reviews or something like that. So yeah, guys, I promise I don't just say these things to talk. It's exactly what I do to a T. Like if I'm like, I won't run PPC ads until I get 10 to 15 reviews. I'm not running PPC ads at 3 reviews. I'm waiting till I get 10 to 15. And then I'm still always pushing for more. Because kind of like we see in Ghost's example, a couple bad reviews can tank your listing rating. And we don't want our listing rating to be tanked. And so that's why always pushing for more good reviews is going to be very beneficial to you later down the line. Sterling, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you, my guy. Sale 28K, reviews 550, 2 suppliers. Should I go with the product? That's not enough data. What do you mean sales of 28K? Are you only talking about one listing, bro? Because I don't base a product that I'm going to launch based on one listing. I'm looking at the whole market. Yeah, you have to look at all the competitors in the market, not just one seller. So yeah, I'm looking to build credibility of a product with industry expert testimonials and recommendations. That's a great way to go about it. I just I posted a video, or I recorded a video today. I'll post it sometime this week, God willing. But I was trying to think of some video ideas for TikTok, and I was scrolling through my Snapchat memories back in 2019, because Snapchat was like the main platform that I used, not to market my product, but just like for personal use when I started my brand back in 2019. And I was looking, oh man, it was, what was the phrase that I was thinking of for that launch? Of course I'm blanking on it right now. I'm trying to think. Okay, no, it doesn't matter. It's not going to come to me right now. But my very first product launch was almost like something out of a book, out of a movie. Are you doing private label? I am, Yodi. It was almost out of a movie, to the sense of like, I truly have not seen, and I teach all of these things, by the way, but I truly have not seen anybody replicate the launch that I have done. I'll break it all down. Let me get to a couple of these questions. My goal is 10K a month with a 10K budget. Is that enough? Yeah, it's more than enough, but it's good to have revenue goals, everybody. I've always had revenue goals. It's part of business. You're always going to be like, okay, I want to get to this point, right? Too many people get wrapped up in this, I have to make this much money, when the real thing should be, what do I need to do to get to this revenue goal, right? But yes, in terms of starting budget, it is enough. Been tuning into your lives almost every time. Been saving up. We'll be joining your mentorship soon. Let's go, Chelsea. Looking forward to having you in the group, in the program. Let's go. Would love to have you as a mentor soon. 2 weeks or less, I'll be signing up myself. Let's go, Chelsea. Can't wait to have you in the program, genuinely. So let's go back to that story until we get some more questions. Feel free to drop your questions down below, y'all. But on the very first product that I launched on Amazon, number one, I created social media pages for that product because my goal was to build a brand, kind of going back to what Juke was saying in the live, right? Signing up today as well. Let's go, chicken. I like that name, Chicken Nuggets. Let's go, son. Can't wait. How much does your mentorship cost? I want to join too. How much does the mentorship cost? Julie and Yodi asked. It is $3K USD, one-time payment, lifetime access. But don't get too caught up in the price of it, because if y'all didn't want every single, that's for the main mentorship and all the things that I've built in it, which is a lot. It's not just some video course that you get. It is a true ecosystem and mentorship for Amazon private label sellers. But if you guys didn't want access to the shipping service, if you didn't care to have the one-on-one call with me, if you guys didn't care, you know what I mean? Certain things, we'll create a package for you and your unique situation. That's why I tell everybody, just hop on a call with my team. You're going to get to talk to them. They're going to hear about what you guys need, what your goals are, and then they'll be able to work with you there. We're very flexible in that aspect. But my very first brand, and I'm going to keep pausing the story as we get more questions because I don't want to just have like 30 questions sitting, but feel free to keep asking questions, y'all, while I tell the story. So I created social media pages. TikTok wasn't invested. LOL. Let's go. TikTok wasn't a thing back then. I don't think it was 2019 January, or if it was, it wasn't what it is today by any means. So I had an IG. Actually, is that all I had? I think I just had an IG. Yeah, I had an IG and a Facebook page for the brands, or for the brand. And I had everybody that I knew go shout it out. That was actually the cool thing is I asked a couple of my boys to shout it out. And then all of a sudden, just because I knew so many people, all of a sudden people that I didn't even ask were shouting out the brand. I had like 200 followers before I ever went live on a product on IG. I'm about to launch my first product and I've been relying on YouTube videos so far. I need a mentor. AMZ Masterclass Yodi is the Harvard of Amazon FBA private label education. There's nothing that comes close. I even think that, like, in terms of PPC ads, product research, analyzing products, you won't find as good information on YouTube or on TikTok, to be honest with you. I know I'm obviously biased when I say that, but I think there's a couple mentorship students in here, unless Kevin left. Yeah, I think he left. He was in here. But we also got Pranav in here. Pranav, one of the students. I know, Pranav, you're pre-launch, but if you've checked out the PPC Masterclass, I'd love for you to give some insight on your opinion, how in-depth you think it is. So I had 200 followers before I even launched a product on Amazon. Now, do you guys know brands like Gymshark and brands like Alpha Elite, those fitness clothing brands, where every time, you know, it's mainly, I mean, everybody does it, males, females, but a lot of females, they'll buy a Gymshark little drop or whatever, and then they post and they tag Gymshark. It's almost like a flex that you bought this brand. I started to create that same vibe for my brand. And I started to curate. It was so cool. But I started to curate this vibe where, like, it was a flex to order my products and then post it, because I was going to repost it on my personal pages. The brand was going to post it on their personal pages. Is there a good amount of women in the mentorship as well? Yes, I would say it's probably 60-40, 60% guys, 40% females. Some of my first students, one of my most OG students, she was just in one of the last calls, was one of my very first students ever. So 110%. Marina, thank you so much for the follow. Dark, I got you. You guys remind me where I am in the story, because I usually will just go on and tell the entire story and then all of your questions will stack up. but I'm going to answer the questions and then get back to the story, because I'm sure some of you don't care about the story and just want your questions answered. Pranav says, it's incredible. I've never seen someone go that in depth. Luke genuinely cares about his people. Pranav, my guy, one of the mentorship students. Y'all heard it here first. That's another thing, y'all. Like, if you got a bad mentorship program, do you think that you would keep going into the guy's lives if you didn't like the information and didn't like the way that he taught and all of that stuff? Every single live, like I know Chelsea's seen it because she's been in the lives a lot. Juke's seen it. He's been in the lives a lot. Every single live that I've ever gone on, my students are also in the lives. Maybe one, maybe two. Sometimes it's like half of the live is my students. Dark says, can you explain how you choose a product for the students? So I don't know if you've watched some of my product criteria videos, Dark, but the exact method that I use, or the exact criteria that I use to launch my own products on Amazon, I will select a student's product based on that criteria. Let me remove the green screen because TikTok made some changes. I'm going to show you guys an example report right now. I'm not supposed to flip the camera with a green screen on anymore, so we're not going to do that. But let me show you guys an example of a product report. This is a mock product report, and this is obviously not a product that I would recommend anybody launch, or else I wouldn't be showing it to you guys. So here's kind of what it looks like. Hold on, let's make sure. Okay, so you're going to have the AMZ Masterclass product report. It's going to show what the product is. You're going to have a search volume analysis, make sure that the product isn't seasonal, what the main keyword of the product is. It's going to have a keyword analysis of your top keywords and their cost per clicks. We're going to show a market analysis. So this one looks a little bit weird, but it's going to show you like a screenshot of the X-ray tool, show you the average reviews, average price, average revenue, and all of that. It's also, again, this is an example kind of mock report. It's also going to show you how many new sellers in the market are performing well, because that's a better indicator of how you, a new seller, will do. Google Trends report. It's also going to have a competitor analysis of your top 3 competitors in the market, right? So we see that right here. It is going to, oh no, that's also the competitor report. It's going to have an Amazon FBA profitability calculator to make sure that the product can achieve at least 30% net margins after FBA fees, cost of goods, and shipping. It's going to have 3 different supplier options for you guys to reach out to, but I do recommend in the program to reach out to like 10 to 20. That's just the standard. It's going to have a basic patent search. It's going to have a basic trademark search. And then it's also going to have some notes about the product as well. So a very, very in-depth report. I don't just say like, oh, go launch this product. It's a very in-depth report to help you guys get started on that journey. So let's show the sales dashboard again. Give me 1 second while I pull that up. 1 second. Okay, let's shrink it and put it in the corner. All right, let's do it. He gives me real genuine vibes, which is why I decided I will be joining his mentorship. I appreciate you, Chelsea. Like I said, can't wait to see you in the program. Yeah, he never fakes anything. He's a very genuine and honest person. Again, Pranav, I appreciate you, brother. God bless you. Pranav, been crushing it in the mentorship, been joining all the calls and stuff. Thanks for the suppository recommendation. Of course. I don't know what you mean by suppository. It's a word outside of my diction. When I think suppository, I'm thinking of something that's probably not what you're thinking of. Females probably know. But have you looked at automating with AI? I can't say too much, Juke. I can't say too much. But all I will say is yes. Yes, I have. Stay tuned is all I can say. I'm not going to leak too much until some certain things play out. But there's some very, 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 very exciting stuff coming. that has to do with that. So yeah, that comes with the 5K mentorship, Alex. So does it include product in, wait, so does it just include the product in the 2000, or do you help with PPC ads too? So it comes with the 3000 option does not come with product selection. The 5K option comes with product selection. But in terms of PPC ads, I'm not going to run your ads for you or anything like that, Dark, but I have something in the mentorship called the PPC Masterclass. There's not a single video series on YouTube, TikTok. There's not a single mentorship program or course out there that covers PPC ads in depth as mine. How can I say that so confidently? I know it probably sounds like I'm biasly saying that, but I say that so confidently, because objectively as well, because I've had students join my program from every single mentorship and course for private label that you can think of. All of your favorite Amazon creators on TikTok who do Amazon FBA, all of your favorite ones on YouTube who you've seen who do Amazon FBA. I've had students join mine, go specifically a lot of the times for the PPC Masterclass, and tell me that there is nothing like PPC ads out there. Yodi, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. Good, glad to hear. I'm not gonna name any names, Dark, but when I say every single mentorship and course on private label out there, I mean every single course and mentorship out there. Every single one. Every single one. If you can name the person, I've had students join from their program. Which again, if you bought a program and then felt like you needed to buy another program because you didn't get sufficient information about something like PPC ads or product research or something like that, I think that speaks for itself. Also, what's the percentage of people succeeding from your product selections? Well, based on my criteria, because you have to understand, not every student tells me that they launch. Not every student tells me when they fail. So I only have certain data from what I know. And that's probably not the most 100% accurate information or data, based on the fact that not every single person tells me when they launch or tells me when they fail. But based on the criteria that I use and teach, which is the same criteria for product selection, it's about a 70% success rate on those products for not losing money. Okay, back to the story. Keep the questions coming, but we'll go back to the story. We were at 200 followers, right? So I have everybody shout out my brand. I get about 200 followers on my social medias. It becomes a flex to post screenshots of my product. I had a super UR, finish the rest of the word or the abbreviation. I had a super UR, first letter of my name, right? And so when people would go onto my social medias and click there to go buy my product, that was helping increase my rank. And then I was doing like photo shoots. Anybody and not like famous people or by any means, but I would have all of my friends that I knew who, you know, I was, like I said, I was going through my Snapchat memories and I saw a post from a story that I did, like, are there any females who wear females and males who wear glasses? I need y'all for a, let's pretend I don't want to say my old brand name. Let's pretend it was NutriShop. Does anybody wear glasses for a NutriShop photo shoot that I want to do? And so I would get people to do photo shoots. I also, like, there was photo shoots at the beach. There was photo shoots at the apartment. We did photo shoots on rooftops. And I would just curate and create so much content. One of my buddy's cousins, he's like a dancer. He's really good at dancing. I always thought it was so fly. He has like pictures of him, like, because my first product was a supplement. So he'd like take my supplement and do like these crazy dances. I'll post a video for y'all on TikTok of it because I thought it was fly. And so I made so much content and I was just creating this brand that, if I'm being on, like, obviously I know the behind the scenes, it felt bigger than it was. Like, I had a solid brand. Was doing 10K in top line revenue my first month selling on Amazon. But from the outside looking in, it looked like I was a multi-million-dollar brand before I even touched numbers that were relatively close to that. right? Just because my output was so much every single day on my personal social medias, on my IG and on my Snap, because like I said, those were my two main platforms. I was posting videos, contents, deals. I had education weeks where I would educate people on the product. Let me get to Dark's question. And also, what percentage? I answered that. And also, is the product you pick smaller, lightweight, or heavy? Because I know Amazon charges. I won't give anybody a product that's over 10 pounds, Dark, unless they specify that they want something. So it's usually under 8 pounds for the products that I give, unless people have like a higher budget and want something like that. Do you help with differentiating the product? So there's two aspects with this. I'm not going to give you your differentiator, but in the program, in depth, multiple lessons, multiple Zoom call recordings, because we do weekly group coaching calls, and all of those calls from the first one to the last one we did are recorded for anybody, whether you first join the program or you join the program tomorrow. It's all there in a Rolodex of information. And then you're also able to read, that's another perk of the program, is you're able to reach out to me and be like, hey, Luke, what do you think of this differentiator? What do you think of this differentiator? Because differentiation is subjective. Something that I pick doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the winning differentiator. But something like, for example, I've had students where they tell me the differentiator, I don't necessarily love it, but then it crushes it, right? So it's a little bit more subjective, but I do guide you, help you. Students get unlimited product validation. So if you didn't do the product selection option, you can send, we have a little template in the program. You can send me, hey, Luke, here's the product name, here's the search volume, here's the average reviews, average revenue. What do you think of the product? And I'll tell you, yes, that's a good product. No, that's not a good product. And I'll tell you why it's not a good product, so that you guys can learn, and get better at product research. Back to the story. Keep asking your questions, y'all, but we're back to the story. And so I started to, the reason why I think my first brand did so well as it did, it was like the gold standard for Amazon product launches, is because the output that I did was just absolutely insane. And then y'all have heard me talk about the reviews. I would screenshot every review that I got. I'd post them on my social medias. I would get texts, because again, it was a supplement product. So I would always, and it was also like customer support. I didn't just like get someone to buy my product and then once they left me a review, that was it. I followed up with every single person who bought my product. Hey, what did you think? And then people would just go, Luke, oh my gosh, I can't believe this product did XYZ for me. It's helped me so much with this. It's helped me so much with this. And then I would screenshot that, post them on the social medias. Content is king. Let me get to this. How much can you make on one good product? Just average, not exact, obvious. It really depends. You can have a product that makes 5K. You can have a product that makes 40K, right? I had a student who we selected a product for him and absolutely crushed, like 50K in top line revenue a month. I've had products where I selected for students where maybe they were hitting like 8K, but then they have to dial certain things in. And of course, I'm going to help guide them on those things. So there's really not an average, just because the range is so big. And it also depends on how much you push for reviews, how well you optimize your listing. So there's a lot of things that are out of my control, but the products that I do select have the potential to hit 10K in top line revenue. So I'm not going to give you a product where the best seller in the market is only making 4K in top line revenue, right? Because that doesn't meet the product criteria. So another thing, and I made a video about this, and I'll post it, like I said, God willing, this week. I was at a Amazon conference, and they were talking about this new platform that had just come out called Cameo. Now all of us have probably heard of Cameo because it's so big, but back then it wasn't what it was today. And they were like, yeah, you can get famous influencers and famous people to make videos about your product. Hold on. And make videos about your product. And they kind of like sold it a little bit more than what it actually was. But I remember going on Cameo and I see one of my favorite UFC fighters back in the day, Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell was on there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to get Chuck Liddell to make an endorsement for my product. Little did I know that Cameo doesn't really work like that. So I hit up Chuck Liddell because you can message the people first, right? So I hit him up on Cameo and I'm like, hey, Chuck, big fan. I would love for you to make an endorsement on my product. Can I order the Cameo and then you do that? He's like, honestly, bro, I don't really do. He's like, that's not really how Cameo works. Like, these are like for shout outs, happy birthday, you know, things like that. For a product endorsement, it would be much more money than I charge on Cameo. His Cameo at the time, I think, was like 100 or 150 bucks. And so I'm sitting, and then he did say, shout out to Chuck, awesome dude. But then he did say, like, if you can figure out a way where I'm not endorsing your product, then maybe we can discuss it. Just let me know. So then I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, how can I make this like about my brand, but not really about my brand, where it's not like something where I have to pay thousands of dollars to Chuck Liddell for an endorsement. So then I'm like, oh, I got it. So I sent him a message. I'm like, Chuck, what if you say, I want to give a huge shout out to Luke and all of the success that he's had with blank, my brand name. He's like, yeah, that's not a product endorsement like that. I'll do that. Let's go, baby. I'm about to get an endorsement that's not really an endorsement, but I considered it an endorsement from Chuck Liddell, the Iceman. So we do it. 150 bucks. I send it. A week later, I get a video from the Iceman himself saying that exact line that I did. I posted on my social media pages on my personal pages and on my brand pages, and it just goes crazy, right? It goes wild because again, I think even if you don't watch UFC, that you know who Chuck Liddell is, right? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just in my own bubble. So that video goes absolutely wild, and that's what I'm saying. That's the things that it takes to create a successful brand. There's so many people who are like, I'm just going to launch a product and hope for the best, make zero optimizations. The only output that I put out is going to be launching the product, which if you think about it, the bare minimum to sell a product online or on Amazon is to launch the product on Amazon or online. That's the bare minimum. But people think that that's the thing that's going to get them to the next level. You're never going to achieve numbers like this if that's how you think. You have to push. You have to push. Content is king. Reviews are king. Optimization's king. What are the key factors that determine profitability in Amazon FBA product listing? FBA fees, cost of goods, shipping, and your PPC ad cost, Adam. That's why if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. If I ever asked you, if you have a product live on Amazon and I ever asked you, what is your profit margin? And you tell me I don't know, it's going to be a rough go, brother. You need to know what your cost of goods is per unit. You need to know what your cost or your shipping is per unit. You need to know what your FBA fees are per unit. And you need to know what your total advertising cost of sale is per unit. What are optimizations? Like improvements, Dark. So like I go launch a product. I'm trying to see if I have an example. I don't necessarily off in front of me, but I go launch a product and I throw up one main image, my 6 infographics, my title, my bullet points, my description, and then I never touch it. That's not optimizing. But if I go and maybe my conversion is low, okay, I'm going to optimize my main image. I'm going to change my main image and make it better. I'm going to push for more reviews so that I can increase my rank and increase my conversion. I'm going to optimize. I'm going to change my bullet points, add more keywords in there, make it more benefit focused rather than product focused. Or maybe I'm going to make it more product focused rather than whatever the word I just said, focused. Right? I'm going to go and add A+ content in my listing. I'm going to add a video to my listing. Those are the kind of optimizations that you guys need to make when you're selling on Amazon. That is going to be absolutely key along your journey. Let's go. Take a water break real quick. Also, thank you all for 2.9K likes. Let's get it going. Really helps out the live a lot, as well as the shares on the live. Little little TikTok hack. If you guys click the share button and click copy link, it counts as a share to the algorithm, but you don't actually have to send the live to anybody. So if you guys are getting value from the live, make sure to do that. Also, if you guys are getting value from the live, make sure to go check out my last few TikTok videos. Post some gem videos every single day. I've been posting like 3 videos a day on TikTok, Amazon, travel content, all of these things. So if you guys want to see a little bit of the day-to-day life / a lot of Amazon and e-commerce tips, check it out. Yo, Airstick, what up, my guy? Another one of the mentorship students up in here. I'd be interested in having you select it. Let me know how much it is. With the mentorship and product selection, it's $5K USD dark. Without product selection, $3K, but I do go over in depth how to find products, as well as, like I mentioned earlier in the live, you have unlimited product validations. Airstick, what we saying? How's it going, my guy? Hope you had a good and blessed and productive day, sir. Airstick right here, an Amazon and TikTok shop 7-figure seller, absolutely crushing it with his product. Full transparency, Airstick did launch his product before joining the mentorship, but he wanted to find ways to optimize, improve, and level up. So he joined the program and launched a few, or is getting ready to launch, or no, you just launched a few products from the product selection option. Another little fun fact about Airstick is he's the one who put me up on game about TikTok Shop. Dude was in the lives before he joined the program. Or did you already join the program at that? After when you told me about TikTok Shop? I forget now. I don't know. I think it was before. But yeah, he's in the lives all the time. He's like, bro, we got to talk about something that's gonna change the trajectory of your business. And I'm like, oh man, this guy knows that I'm doing good. He's always supporting. He's always showing love. Always good vibes. I'm like, I got to hear what this guy has to say. So we end up connecting, and he starts talking to me about TikTok Shop. He's the reason why there's sections in the AMZ Masterclass. Although it's an Amazon mentorship program, I have a full section on TikTok Shop because I saw what it did for his brand. Absolutely crushing it. If you guys actually go to his page and go to his product, and he's open about his product, or else I would never share what his product was. But he obviously does social media for it. That's his brand page. Anyways, if you guys go to his brand page, you'll see over 21 or 22,000 units sold on TikTok Shop. He was one of the OGs on TikTok Shop. Like, obviously it's turned into something much bigger, but when he first started, top 10 TikTok Shop sellers, got invited to TikTok New York headquarters, TikTok LA headquarters. Was that it? Were those the only headquarters you got invited to? But TikTok was asking him what he was doing for his brand, because he was just crushing it so much. How much is the price for the mentorship? $3K, USD. With product selection, $5K. But like I said, you guys don't need to get product selection to join. I do cover in depth how to analyze a product, how to research a product. You have unlimited product validations. If you do research yourself and you send me over certain metrics, I'll analyze and let you know why and whether a product is good. Was it the mentorship has gone through evolutions, Dark, and at some point it will be more expensive than $3K USD. Probably not necessarily anytime soon. There is something that I'm getting ready to add to the program. God willing, it'll be done in the next 2 weeks, where that alone, the thing that I'm adding in the program alone, could justify the entire price of the program. Like, I could increase the price just from that because of what I'm building out for my students. Now, I'll probably keep it the same price because my goal isn't to squeeze the price. But yeah, as I've added more things, because when I first launched the mentorship, it was 10 hours of video content. There was no PPC Masterclass. There was no one-on-one call with me. Students had direct access to message me. There was no shipping service. There was no freight forwarding service. But that's also why I tell y'all that don't get too hung up on the price, because if you don't want every single feature that I offer in the program, we'll create a package that works for you. There was only one weekly group coaching call, it was a monthly group coaching call. So we only had one call, no product selection. Product selection didn't exist. What else? There was no inspection service. There was no bookkeeping service. There was no PPC Masterclass, the most in-depth guide on PPC ads. And so from my first student who ever joined, because it's lifetime access, they have gotten access to every single thing that I have created for the program. Same thing with the students who have already joined. This new feature that legit, you guys are like, what is this guy even saying when I'm about to say this? But when I announce it, you'll be like, oh, I understand what he's talking about. This new thing that I'm adding to the program, I legit could charge $500 a month for it, and that would still be a good deal. But I'm not going to do that. It's going to be just available for my students and everybody who has joined. It says you better not. We shall see. It's funny because obviously anybody who's not joined the program, nobody wants to see it go up in value, right? But every single one of my students who has joined the program tells me that the program is underpriced for everything that I do. Bro, I can't seem to find part 1 from your recent documentary. Bro, it was actually a while ago, Ibby. So you're going to have to go on my videos. I'll tell you. Hold on. Let's scroll down here. The video was published. I'll tell you right now, Ibby. The video was published August 26, 2024. So you got I'm not going to count them to bore everybody, but you got 10, because I post a new video every week. So you probably got 15 to 10 videos in between part 2 and part 1. So make sure that you do some scrolling. There was a long gap in between because we had some issues with the product, which I do talk about in part 2. We had those compliance issues with Amazon seller support. Our product got flagged twice. So the first time it gets flagged, well, I guess you don't call it flagged, but the first time it did get flagged, they said it was a dangerous goods item, which it's not. And so we're going back and forth with Amazon, finally resolved that. And then we had to submit an ISO certification test, which that's standard. We knew that we had to do that for the product. And so that was 2 months just in itself right there. And how I talk about in part 2, and this is the beauty of it. I'm kind of glad that I'm documenting everything just for people to see. I would say that product launch for the brand new account that I'm documenting the journey on is, how is this even possible? Too many Chinese sellers on Amazon and Amazon fees. I don't know why I get triggered when I see comments like this. I want to give an arrogant answer, but I'm going to try to avoid that right now. Okay, let's break it down. Every single product that I've ever launched on Amazon from 2019 to now, there's been more than 50% Chinese manufacturers. So I don't even know how that's a question of how is this possible, because that's been the game forever. Literally forever. Chinese manufacturers have sold on Amazon since Amazon FBA first existed. So how is it possible? Well, it's possible because everybody does it, because I'm not competing on price. If I was competing on price and low ticket items, there's always a newbie, they know everything. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But sometimes, maybe not, Alex. Sometimes people are just curious. And if that's the case, then I'm happy to answer it. I just don't like the mindset of people being like, it's impossible, boom, 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 boom. But it's very possible, because I've done it. Airstick's done it. My students have done it. People who come into the lives and just tell me about their success have done it. But if you're just curious, then I understand that for sure. We're all here trying to learn. Really quickly, YouTube, TikTok, this doesn't apply to you. YouTube, I love y'all. I am going to close out the YT live right now. Make sure y'all go subscribe and check out the AMZ Masterclass. I'll see y'all, God willing, tomorrow.